All right, stream is started. Let me just post a link here and post a link here. Send now. Let's get everybody on board. Cool. Hey guys, DMS3 TV here. Today I have another live review of these. The Advanced GTR. They are a set of planars that are being crowdfunded. And hello! I thought you guys might find them interesting. I did put a review of these on the Patreon, but I figured I'd stick to my current theme and just keep doing live reviews. So here we are. So before I get into this, I just want to note, I'm gonna basically say in every video for a little while now, in all these live reviews, I am going to be making some major channel changes. I'm going to have a video announcing what all those changes are, but I don't want anybody to be caught by surprise when that happens. Excuse me. So just know they are coming. I'm going to keep reviewing things until then, and I'm going to keep posting reviews in another way after these changes come. I'll explain that all when it gets there. For now, these. So, yes, I am now reviewing everything live, or at least at the moment, just because it's a lot easier. I'm going to be honest. Editing videos and everything takes a long time now. Just because I have a whole lot going on. I'm editing tons of videos for work right now, so this is the way we got to do it. Plus, if you guys have questions, you can automatically, just come straight to me for them. Oh, hi, Caitlin. Glad you tuned in. I love you, too. And I miss you. She's out of town this week. So anyway, let's get started. Build. So these are pretty much all metal for the most part, at least all that I can see on the outside. And they're extremely light. These are, like, I would say HD 650 light, not quite, but within maybe 15 to 20% difference. So they're stupid light for a actual metal set of headphones, especially planar headphones. They use a suspension strap on top, which has plenty of padding on top. And the pads also are definitely soft enough, but they could be a little bit thicker. Sometimes my ear does touch the inside right here, which doesn't bother me too much, though they do have sufficient clamp force. A lot more clamp force than 6XX, 650, or 600. So that's worth noting. If clamp force is a problem for you, then you may not like these, but personally, I get hot spots on the top of my head a lot. So since these have a really high clamp force, it kind of helps to prevent that. And the actual issue with them touching my ears isn't too much of a problem until I get really far into a listening session. But aside from that, build-wise, I don't have any complaints. They're 2.5 in on both sides. The only point I feel like could be weak is maybe these hinges, because I don't know if you can hear this. It does make an interesting sound, and you can feel some friction. The hinge is oh so slightly loose, but I can see that there's a pretty large metal bracket in there. I don't think it's coming off anytime soon, but it seems like if there were a weak point, that would probably be it. But build and comfort-wise, I'm relatively pleased with these, and I feel like I should go on and say these are on Indiegogo right now, and they're like $200 on Indiegogo. So, build and comfort, $200 headphones that stand up to these, not many that I know of, if any. Unless you have giant ears. So, sorry about that. I'm going to divide this into several categories because I took notes here, and the first of which being lows. Now, these do sound a little bit warm in some cases, but I'm going to get into why that's in some cases later. They don't necessarily have too much of an emphasis on bass and sub-bass, even though they can sound warm at times. I'm going to have to answer that in a minute. Where was I? Lows. We'll get into the fact that these are actually more of a mid-centric headphone, but the lows are relatively well extended, and while they're not overpowering or bloomy, everything stays in its place. It is worth noting that these are like some of the tightest headphones I've ever heard. So a lot of things like bass isn't necessarily, big and round and crazy. Like you're not going to have insane thumping bass, but it is exceptionally tight. Like kicks feel like they are just snap on point every time. It starts and it stops just like that. Everything is very, very, very fast, which is good. That's a good sound. And if a song is produced well, it will play to that. And if a song isn't produced well, then you won't be gaining that benefit, which that in itself is one of the biggest benefits of this pair of headphones specifically. The mid-range on this is definitely emphasized over everything else. In fact, the biggest peak is around, I think, 1K. I could be wrong. I have the graph in front of me. I just have some of my notes. One of the things that really surprised me about the mid-range in these is how incredibly dynamic it is. There are definitely things that I heard in a male and female vocal ranges that I didn't hear previously with a lot of other headphones. Even things like LCDs. I still hadn't heard some things that I've heard with these in the mid-range, which is definitely a compliment. And not just things that, you know, I hadn't heard before, as in like they weren't there at all, period, but like things that really stood out in the mix. Because not only is the where'd I go? My brain's gone again. I'm just out of it today, guys. Not only the dynamics really good, but the separation and imaging are equally on point, which I find is almost on par with the imaging of the 600 ohm DT990, but not quite. Now, the area where this gets to be a mixed bag is in treble. And it isn't a deal breaker, but with some songs, the treble's going to sound great, and with some songs, it sounds piercing. And that's because it's kind of a roller coaster in some areas. So it goes up and down and up and down and up and down. You have a good bit of air, but for some reason at the same time, some songs it'll sound dark, some songs it'll sound bright. So it's very unpredictable, and I think it has a lot to do with how songs are produced. I find that if a song is produced with a lot of compression and a lot of limiting, then you are going to get a lot more sibilant treble. If something is well produced and is very dynamic, you're going to get much softer, more relaxed treble. Compare and contrast GTRs with M560s. I will get into that in just a moment. Soundstage can be pretty much cut into two categories on these. Vocals and everything else. Because vocals are relatively intimate. They're not 650 intimate, and they're not 600 intimate, but they are still exceptionally intimate. More intimate than Behrs, not quite as intimate as Sennheisers. Everything else is pretty spaced out. And I would say spaced out as in, I don't know if many of you guys have heard the M565. Not specifically M560, but M565 had pretty wide soundstage with some songs, and these can hit levels like that. They're not Argon wide, but they're reasonably wide. More wide than I would think that a pair of headphones that have openings this small would be, because look, I don't know if you can see how small these are, but this is not a very open set of open headphones. Interesting thing too, the inside grid, like this grid right here, goes the opposite way inside the cups. You can feel it. They're vertical slats. But soundstage is wide. Imaging is absolutely excellent, but vocals are still extremely tight. I know, doggo. It's okay. It's got a very good focus on center image for vocals. So instead of vocals being projected into your ears, it sounds more like vocals are radiating out from your center point in your head, which is how you generally want something to sound. I mean, that's how you'd want a good 5.1 system to sound. That's how you'd want... I know, dog. It's okay. That's how you'd want a well... Okay, you're going to unplug my computer. You need to stop. I know. I love you. You're a good dog. Don't step on my power cable. Okay, well, she's coming up here now. Okay, baby. Yes, the Kickstarter almost reached its goal, but then they decided to switch over to Indiegogo because the Kickstarter didn't quite reach its goal. Oh! The M565 had... Puck, you gotta be in my lap or you gotta not be in my lap. You gotta pick. The M565 had really big soundstage on some songs and really tight soundstage on other songs. So, I know that's not the best comparison in the world either. Overall, though, okay, I'm just going to put it like this. Actually, I need to talk about power first. Power was another weird thing. They're very revealing of whatever amp you hook them up to. Dogs do rock. I have a great dog. She likes to play at the worst times, like right now. All right, you ready? Go get it. They're very revealing of what amp they're plugged into. So if I plug these into Magni right there, I'm going to get a lot of glare. If I plug them into the Element, or not the Element, but the EL amp and the EL DAC, it's going to sound great. If you plug up to NFB11, you're probably going to, depending on what gain setting you have, it's probably going to be relatively neutral on high gain and relatively warm on low gain. So it's going to vary a lot depending on what amp you have them plugged into. That said, I could plug them up to my phone and still get not great sound, but okay sound. I mean, I would lose some of the tightness, I would lose some of the punch, but it seems like frequency response-wise, everything is still intact. Do I like turtles? Yes, I like turtles. Old meme. Anyway, conclusion. While it's a little bit unpredictable and kind of messy in the highs, depending on what type of music you listen to, this could be a really sweet headphone. The frequency response is very strange, so it does sound weird at times, but it's exceptionally tight. The imaging and center image are fantastic, and if those are things that you're interested in, then the Advanced GTR might be the headphone for you, because $200 for a mid-focused planar with excellent imaging and excellent dynamics pretty much doesn't exist outside of this, from what I know of. So, there you go. Questions, and other things, and comments, and whatnot. And my dog. Here. Come here, Puck. Come here. There she is. This is my dog, and she's the best. I'm still using that webcam, I'm sorry. I am going to start using this camera soon for streaming at some point, but I have to get an adapter so I can hook it up to my computer. But when I do, everything will look a lot better. Also, was there anything I missed in there? Can you think of anything I missed that you guys want to know about these? Because I have them right in front of me, and I will continue to have them right in front of me for the duration of this stream, which I will probably let go for like 20 minutes or so. 560 comparison. Okay. M560 is more intimate. M560 has a better frequency response. But GTR is lighter. Actually, M560 is built better too. GTR is lighter and more comfortable, has significantly better imaging and significantly better imaging and center image, and is much more dynamic and tight. While M560 is probably going to be a better all-rounder just because of its less weird frequency response. So I think GTR is one of those quirky things that if you really like certain things like imaging, dynamics, and tightness, then you're really going to like the GTR. Whereas if frequency response is a really big deal, then it might be a deal breaker for some people depending on what you're into. Yeah, I know, I need to cut my hair. Look at this. What's happened to me? I'm gonna chop it all off one of these days. I just gotta make it happen. Yeah, Josh, I need to get you back on here. We need to start doing podcasts again one of these days when I actually have some free time. How do I compare them to M1060C and Argon? That'd be really hard. I already don't like comparing M1060C and Argon too much because they're such different headphones. I know they're both closed, but they're so different. Okay, these are definitely tighter than M1060C and Argon. Argon has the widest soundstage out of all of them. GTR is the most mid-centric out of all of them. That's so tough. If I had to daily drive one unmodified, out of all three it'd be Argon. Because Argon you just can't beat for what it is. It's just, it's stupidly underpriced. But I can think of plenty of cases where the GTR would outperform it. Like I said, imaging, tightness, things like that. But Argon is just warm and delicious. It wins on soundstage and frequency response. M1060C is pretty detailed, and it's got a much larger driver, so it produces a different kind of sound. Yeah, I would definitely say this is great for vocals. It really depends on how it's produced, though. If it's really compressed, then it's going to sound sibilant on these. If it's not compressed, if it's really well produced, it's going to be a warmer sounding vocal tone. But vocals are stupidly exceptionally detailed. Like this is something that's very good for mid-range. So if you're a mid-range fanatic, you're probably going to like these the most. I have not heard the 4XX. Sorry. But I did have 400i's for a while. This is definitely a lot tighter bass than the 400i. Did I see up there comparison to 1990? That'd be really hard to do. Okay, so this is... 1990 is just kind of a ridiculous headphone. I think in every way except for center imaging, 1990 is probably going to outperform the GTR. And not overall imaging, but center imaging specifically. Because the GTR has better center image than most things, but 1990 has better imaging overall. And 1990 definitely wins on frequency response. No, they're not similar to 656XX. They're super unpredictable in the highs depending on how something is produced. They're very, 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 very mid-centric with stupid good center image. Like, I will say this, okay. 650, there's a difference between just vocal intimacy and center image. 650, 600 have great vocal intimacy, but things like GTR have a better center image. Like, it sounds like the vocals are radiating from the center of your head outwards. Like, the sound is coming from between your ears, not just being shot into your ears. With 650s, what you hear, it's like what you're hearing is exactly where the microphone is placed. So if the microphone is right here and right here, it sounds like your ears are right next to someone's mouth on either side. Whereas with the GTR, it would sound like the microphones are inside your brain going outwards. I want to save all the details about the changes to my channel for when I have the full announcement video. And what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to do a live stream. And I'll start the stream, I'll start playing the video that announces everything, and then when that video is done, I'll just be here on the stream to talk to you guys about the changes. So, compared to 990 600 ohm, tighter than that. The GTR is tighter than that, for sure, but and not nearly as bright, because these sound super warm if a track is well produced. Imaging is definitely on par. Much more mid-focused, because the 990s are not mid-focused. Hardly at all. And these are the exact opposite. These are super, super, super mid-focused. I like this format of reviewing too, because I really like to actually interact with you guys and be like, you know, I can't say one-on-one because we're not one-on-one right now, we're 1-on-47, but I like being able to, you know, actually talk this out and answer your questions, because a lot of times it's hard for me to go through and answer all the questions on videos, because, you know, I have 200 videos now on my channel, and all of those get dozens of comments a day, so it's really hard to actually keep up with the comments. So this is great. Yeah, the 990 250 ohm is pretty harsh. I really only like the 600 ohm version. How would I describe the Argon's mid-range performance? Awesome. There's nothing that the Argon does poorly. I mean, aside from being an open back headphone. That's the only thing it does poorly, because it's not. It's closed. It's the most open, closed headphone. It has more soundstage than most open headphones, though, that I've heard. I will say that. I guess Argon's hard to power, too. Like I said, there's nothing that Argon does bad. It's just, it's a warm headphone that's closed that has stupid amazing soundstage. Thoughts on tube amps? Tube amps for the GTR or just tube amps in general? Because I wouldn't put this on a tube amp. This is a planar. And I would almost never put a planar on a tube amp, at least unless it's a hybrid amp. Never OTL. When am I reviewing the amp that I think is a better deal than NFB11? I'm going to be doing that the next stream after this one, which will probably be on Thursday. So I'm trying to do these every other day right now. I'm going to see how well I keep up with that, but Thursday I think I'm going to, either Thursday, maybe Friday, probably Thursday, I'm going to review the amp that I'm now using over NFB11. So, hope you're ready for that. You sent in your T20s to get converted? That is awesome. Seriously. I'm going to put these in the description too. You know what? I might as well. I'm going to go in and do it right now. Because if I'm talking this much about Argon in a video, Argon needs to be put in the description. If you don't know what Argon is, watch reviews of it. Because it's just great. It's a T50 mod. And everyone needs a set. I can't read comments for just a second because I'm posting a link. Also, my dog is grunting and playing with a ball in the background. I don't know if you can hear that. There we go. Did I get it? Is that correct? Yeah, there we go. Okay. Now I can see everyone's comments again. I wouldn't put an OTL tube amp on a planar because most of those are made with high impedance outputs, and it just won't power a planar properly, and it'll just sound really weird because of the impedance mismatch. Dakoni Blues. I have not heard the Dakoni Blues. I'd like to hear the Dakoni Blues. Josh made a review of them, and I think for the most part, Josh's ears are pretty decent. So let's see what Josh says on those Dakoni Blues. I don't know. Actually, I don't know if Josh has reviewed them yet or not, but I know Josh has some. So, Josh, if you're out there, give these people the sauce on the Dakonis. Let them know what's up. You're modifying your iPod Classic. Line out Micro 4's expansion slots. That's pretty dope. Okay, so here's one thing. I'm not going to take in a bunch of things for review right now because I have so many things going on with the channel and the changes I'm making that it's kind of hard for me to take on more things to review. So I mean, like, yeah, a few things here and there that are really cool I'm definitely down to review, but I have like another like 8 or 9 things here that I need to grind out. Okay, yeah, there we go. Josh said they're warm and good soundstage for those Dakoni Blues. But here's the thing, are they as good as Argon? Because I doubt they are, but they might be. You have Argon, so you can tell me. Have I heard T60RP? Yes. They're pretty cool. They're not Argon. It's just how it is. There you go, Josh. He wants to send you his iPod. I had an iPod Classic for a long time. Those things are great. When this is over, I'm going to sit and listen to Argon now for a long time. Argon is, seriously, Argon's one of the best closed-back headphones out there, period, alongside, like... I know it sounds insane for me to say this, but... Oh yeah, Argon's better than Blues every way, Josh says. Like, closed headphones are one of those things where there's not, like, a ton that are super great, but things like Icon and Argon are just... They're kings of what they do. My screen just went black. Okay, well, I hope that my stream just didn't die. My laptop's suffering, don't worry about it. One of my favorite Argon pads, if you... Okay, so here's the thing. For Argon, 2 routes you can take. Soundstage, maximum, or balance highs. So if you go with the protein pads, you'll have bigger soundstage by a little bit, and a big treble spike at 10K. If you go with the lambskins, you'll have slightly less soundstage that's still huge, absolutely huge, but you'll have significantly more level treble. At this point, I'm using them more with the lambskins just because sometimes 10K spikes can be kind of annoying. But the protein pad is closer to the classic Argon sound, at least on the Argon Mark IIIs. And I don't think you can go wrong either way, but if you're sensitive to treble, go with lambskin. So, oh yeah, yeah, GTRs are on Indiegogo. I have a link in the video description. They're at 10 hours in and have 30% of their campaign goal. Thank you for mentioning that, Nathan. Yeah, no, you can't go wrong with Argon. I don't know, everything always leads back to Argon in reviews. It seems like in the podcast, we always end up going back to Argon. Everything leads back to Argon. This is just the center of the audio universe now. Argons and 650s. Better alternative to HM5 sheepskins. ZMF lambskin. Because ZMF makes awesome pads. Yeah, why are you asking Josh? What are you doing? Maybe I need to bring Josh in here one of these times. Am I going to RMAF? Gee, my nose just won't stop itching. I'd like to. I don't know if it's going to be financially doable or not, but I would very much like to. Good bass headphone. What kind of bass? Do you want, like, tight extended bass, or do you want, like, thumping thick bass? If you want tight extended warm bass, Argon. If you want crazy thumping bass that you can drive off a phone, Meze 99 Classic. Meeting one of my friends. We're getting burgers tonight because it's my roommate's birthday tomorrow, but he's working tomorrow, so we're celebrating it today. Haha. And there's an awesome place here in my hometown that has amazing burgers. Have I tried the Monk Plus 64 ohm? Yes. And I do like Monks still. They're still great. But I don't know, I took down some... that's a long story. The whole VE thing is a long story. They're doing a bunch of interesting things now. Monks are still great headphones. Well, headphones, earbuds. They don't have any bass. Depends on if you like bass or not. There's so many comments coming in at the same time. 400i versus 560. I haven't listened to 560 is an M560? I thought you meant the HE560. M560... I don't know. 400i just was really boring. I'm gonna be honest. M560 is just a more fun headphone, and it has the bonus of being built better, and it can be closed back if you need it to be. So those have benefits. I think 400i is overall more detailed. It's just a lot more boring for a planar of its size. KSC75. Awesome. They have everything except for deep bass extension. That's the only thing they're missing. But KSC75s are stupid for the price. They outperform a ridiculous amount of things that are well above their price range, and I think it's hilarious because they're like $12. So yeah. Josh, I need to get you in here on one of these. One of these times when I do a video of something that you've also heard. When I do one of these streams, you should just come on and we'll just both rant about it. Maybe we'll argue, I don't know. Maybe we'll agree, maybe we'll disagree. I feel like we agree on a fair number of things. Maybe I'm wrong. If you guys are watching this video and you don't know who Josh is, go look up his channel, Joshua Valour, V-A-L-O-U-R. He does audio reviews, and he's growing really fast, and he has insanely good production quality. So if you liked the quality of my old videos, go look at his videos, because they're stupidly high quality. Like, it puts me to shame how well produced his videos are. There's a little love for Josh. How long did I wait for my Argon? I didn't, because I got these before they came out. Because I was like, Ryan, when are you making the new Argons? Please, I need them in my life. This is an A6300. I've been using this for shooting like all kinds of things because I have a video business. So I use this to pay my bills. And right now I have a 12mm lens on it that I've been using for shooting houses for real estate agents. Which is fun. I just drop this on a gimbal and walk through a house and get really wide shots. Yeah, A6300. I like using it with a lot of vintage lenses too, like these old Pentax ones. I am going to get back to the podcast at some point, though I want to start publishing it on different platforms instead of YouTube. I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to do that. Honestly, I just need to just like bite the bullet and start putting it on Google Play Music and Spotify and all that stuff. So, but other thing, we also shoot with this is back on the camera subject. We're also going to be shooting some of my upcoming videos with a 5D and some drones, another A6300 alongside this one, maybe eventually even some Red cameras. I think that'd be kind of cool. Just depends on what the projects are going to be. Did me and Josh have the same opinion on DACs? I don't know, Josh, what's your opinion on DACs? I think DACs are super important. I think that amps and headphones matter more than DACs, but I think that if you have a good amp and a good headphone, a DAC can definitely be a limiting factor. Like, going from a $100 DAC to a $200 DAC, I've definitely noticed a big difference. But only on good headphones. If I listen to it on like something really cheap or something really simple, you're not gonna, it doesn't matter. Review is mostly over yet. It was pretty much almost all at the beginning, but I'm still open to answering questions if you guys have any questions. Honestly, the review is like the first 10-15 minutes, and the rest of it is just me talking to you guys, because, I mean, let's be honest, it's fun hanging out. Anybody got an Argon promo code? No, Argons are already way too cheap. They should cost twice as much as they do. So no. If anything, we should do an Argon anti-promo code where we all give Ryan more money, because honestly, he should be making more money off these headphones. Ryan's the guy who makes these headphones, these Argons, by the way, if that didn't make any sense. Sorry. All right, where are we at? I do want... Okay, one more triple drivers. The actual headphones, not the in-ears. They sound great. They're not comfortable. For me, for my ears particularly. So I don't really like reviewing headphones as much when they're not comfortable to me. So I kind of... That's a weird spot for me to get into. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. We'll see. It's a very big maybe. But they do sound great. A $25 USB 24-bit DAC might be good. I mean, here's the thing. It's not all about specs. Because, and I'm using this as an example because I just have this one sitting here. I can't even see this right now. I'm going to open my, there we go. Wow, I'm sorry my desk is such a mess, guys, but this is my life state right now because I'm spending so much time editing. This EL DAC is significantly better than a Modi, and they are very similarly spec'd, but it sounds very significantly different. It's not a frequency response thing, it's just it sounds like I'm hearing more, and it's kind of hard to put my finger on, but that's just how it is. I have not heard of the DAC you're specifically mentioning, unfortunately. I've only done like things with a few DACs here and there. I'm convinced that they do make a difference, but I'm also sure that there's a big diminishing return on it. And amps and headphones, I think, will almost always make a bigger difference. I'm planning on reviewing real audiophile speakers. Yes, I don't know if it'll be on the channel or if it'll be a written review, because I feel like when it comes to speakers, I feel like a written review is just going to do them more justice. Just because there's so many fine details to really get into that you have to make notes and get out, that I feel like if I sit and just talk into a camera that I'll miss them. So I feel like I really have to write down things like that. But if you guys want to know speakers I like, Bowers & Wilkins Diamond Series, I think they're awesome. Anything made by Event makes studio monitors. You can find like PS8s, PS6s, things like that on eBay really cheap. The Event 2030s are awesome. Just all kinds of things like that. Event makes great stuff and they're all powered. But if you want to go into like audiophile speakers, Bowers & Wilkins Diamond Series is really hard to beat. And SVS makes great subs. So there's that too. Did Josh say his opinion on DACs? I don't remember where it is. Headphone/speaker, more important than source quality. Okay. More important than amp. Yeah, I'd say DAC is probably one of the last things in that line. I'd put DAC... Well, I'd put DAC and quality of recording side by side, because I think amp still matters a lot there. I don't know. Okay, so GoFundMe for making the RMAF trip. Maybe. If enough people are interested in that, then yes. But I also don't like asking for money. I say that as I have a Patreon, but like the Patreon actually helps support the channel. We'll see as we get closer to RMAF, because I really love going to RMAF. I love getting to go out there and hear everything and meet everyone. And I think it's important to note that while my channel is going to be going in a relatively interesting new direction, audio is still going to be one of my main focuses online. And I'm going to be doing a lot of written reviews and a lot of other things. And I'm still going to be doing a podcast and all that. But I'm going to be doing a lot more written stuff as well. I want to keep trying to keep going to these things. I can't words. I want to try and keep going to things like RMAF and CanJam and all that. It has to be financially feasible. So if enough people are interested in actually funding that trip, then yeah, sure, I'll open a GoFundMe. But otherwise, I'm going to see if I can make it happen myself. It'll just be tight because I have to pay off my car. Also, I can't tell if my stream is frozen or not. I think my stream is frozen. Is it frozen on me making a funny face? Oh my gosh, it is. That's great. Well, let's restart my webcam. Select a new video capture device. It's this one right here. Nope, it's this one right there. And I gotta change my preferences. I'm sorry, guys. This is really weird. I don't know why it did that. I am determined to make this stream continue. 1920 by 1080. Why is that giant? Welcome to every waking second of my life as things go wrong. There we go. We're back. How's gaming in the Argons? I mean, pretty great. They're, like I said, they're super wide. It is frozen. Thanks, Josh. I figured that out. But it looks fixed. It was frozen on the best face I've ever made on the internet. Yeah, channel changes, like I said, I will talk about that in a future video, and it'll be a big long stream. It'll be a planned stream, so you guys can all tune in at the right time, and we'll all be able to talk about it. We still have like a month until then. So we have time until these changes happen. I'm still going to be doing a lot of reviews until then. KZone 12 or HD800 for best footstep location in gaming? I don't really like HD800 for gaming. They have good soundstage, but I don't like their imaging as much. I feel like if you want like perfect laser accurate location of footsteps, you'd want something Bayer Dynamic. The GTR came very close to their goal on Kickstarter. So, like I said, they have some. They're very unpredictable, but they have some very strong points. So some people will like that and some people won't. The areas where they're very good in, they are very, very good in. And the areas where they fall short in, it's not like deal breaking. So it really depends on what you're into. Like I said, if frequency response is your number one thing, you're not going to like them as much. But if you really care about that imaging and if you really care about how insanely tight they are and mid-focus, then you're going to like them. So it's a very niche planar. Oh yeah, Bayer, like the 1990 or maybe the 600 ohm 990, those have great imaging for locating footsteps. I can only imagine daily driving 1990s for gaming. That'd be so awesome. How much sound does the GTR leak? Let's find out. I'm gonna play. Here they are. They're playing music right now at definitely listening level. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Not a ton. There's not a ton of leak going on. I mean, there are open back headphones. Other people will be able to hear your music. So, you know, you're not going to want to play them on like the bus or something. But they don't leak terribly. They leak way less than 650s or LCDs, I'll put it that way. Yeah, funny enough, webcam is 1920 by 1080. It's just low bit rate. You can hear it from my head? Okay. Well, they're not super loud in the room. But you can tell when people are listening to music. This looks like crap because it's a webcam. Webcam's shooting super low bit rate. I mean, you can shoot in 4K on a GoPro, but it's going to be on a GoPro, so it's going to be, you know, crapo video quality. That wasn't a jab at Z, by the way, because he does his own thing, and that's fine. I'm just a video guy, and I'm really picky about things like that. I'm used to, like, things like this, or 5Ds, or Reds, or whatever, where their 1080p still looks better than most 4K. Is the GTR moddable? Maybe. The pads are glued on, so you'd have to do something there if you wanted to really change them. Like, at least I think they're glued on. Maybe they're not. They're not. There's a clip right there. I just undid a clip. I just learned something. Oh my gosh, this is so hard to do. I don't want to break them. But the pads do unhook. We're learning right now. This is the sketchiest removal of a pad. Okay, so the pad looks like that on the underside. No, that's weird. That one's white. And there we can see our driver. We look at that. I'm glad someone mentioned that because now we can actually see what's going on in here. So it looks like there actually is some plastic right No, that's not plastic. Is it? I can't tell if it's plastic or that weird, like, super thin metal magnesium stuff. Whatever it is. So strange. I mean, yeah, I'm sure you can mod them. I haven't tried. But yeah, yeah, there you go. AFK said literally everything is moddable. That's true. Anything can be modded if you're brave enough. Anything. I'm gonna put this pad back on here. That was very uncomfortable. Removing that pad, that made me very nervous. You bounce between the 660S and the DT1990 as your gaming cans. You're just trying to find a reason to spend money. You're interested in the Aeon Flow? Check out, I don't know if you're into bass or not, but if you're into bass, check out Campfire Cascade, because that thing's pretty cool too. As far as closed headphones in that price range go, they're super bassy, but they are nice. 660S and 1990. I like 660S for comfort, but 1990 for everything else. If you're looking into planar headphones, there's always Argon, or if you're looking for a large planar, you can go LCD2C. Which LCD2C, I'm going to do a full review of that probably after I do this other amp. But there's a catch to LCDs. Best balanced at $200. You can probably get 650s used for $200. It's just going to be Sennheisers for like the most balanced thing ever. I'm always going to say Sennheisers. Can you drive 650s from an iPod? You can listen to them on an iPod, but you're not going to drive them. There's a pair on Discord for $340. Jeez. Of HE500s. I thought you meant 650s. I was like, why are they that much? Yeah, I mean, you could try HE500s. They're interesting. Yeah, no, don't put money into headphones if you got to put them into school. Have I tried Jotunheim? Yes. But NFB11 sounds better than Jotunheim, even though Jotunheim puts out more power through its balanced connection. Sorry, fam. Yeah, you can get 6XXs for $200 and the 5.8Xs, and you can get 650s or 600s used, or HD 580s, which are awesome. It's like a hybrid between the 650 and the 600. Yeah, and you can have the T50RP that you have made into Argon. You can have Argon balanced. Good call. You just have to tell them that you want it to be balanced. I don't know if it's another Chinese OEM or not, but the GTR is, and I mentioned this earlier, it's great if you, I can't say it's good or bad, because it has strengths and weaknesses, but great if you like imaging, great if you really like center image, great if you like tightness, and great if you like mids. In other areas, it does fall a little bit short, but it just depends on what you're into. For $200 to $300, what's the best on imaging and soundstage? Well, the best on soundstage is the Argon. The best on imaging is probably the DT990 600 ohm. So that's a toss-up. But if you care most about, I mean, I think the Argon is better than the DT990 though. So I'm gonna go Argon if you have to put it in the $200 to $300 range. You got the balance mod on your Argons, but you can't find a cable for them. You could probably have someone make a custom cable. It's probably one of your best bets. Argons with custom cable will still be sick anyway. The Nintendo 3DS has the worst amp. Yeah, I imagine. Good lord. DT990 do have more trouble than Argon. Yeah, Argon's a warm headphone, but it's a lot more balanced. And like the mid-range is there in comparison. In comparison to 990. 990 doesn't have much mid-range. Compared to these, at least. Yeah, there you go. PerryApp can make a custom cable for Argons. I have not tried many USB-C amps. I've tried the Dragonfly Black on USB-C. I've tried the Black Label, iFi IDST Black Label, and a few other iFi amps on Type-C, but I don't have a Type-C phone at the moment. I have an S7 Edge with a broken back and a broken screen and a broken charging port, so I can only charge it on wireless charging, and I can't use the connector on the bottom. So I do have a Nexus 6P in my room, though, and I use that whenever I have to try out something that's USB-C. So yeah. Anyway, we've been going for 45 minutes, so I think I am going to wrap this up. The next review is going to be that amp I've been telling you guys about that I've been teasing for ages. So the amp next, then probably the LCD2C. Then I've got a few other things floating around, like the IMR R1. That's probably all I'm going to spoil for now. But you guys know the drill. Stick around. Subscribe, do all those good things, whatever you want to do. I don't really care. Like I said, things are going to be changing soon, so I'm sure people will be leaving when I actually announce the changes that we're making. But either way, I'm going to keep making videos and I'm going to love it. But anyway, next review is going to be just like this, live, so make sure you guys stick around. I'm going to try and do them every 2 days, so expect the next one to be on Thursday. And I'll see you guys there. Peace.